We're going to be discussing everything you need to know about Canton, Georgia. If you've been thinking about what it's like to live in Canton, or you've been thinking about moving to Canton, maybe you need to add this to your radar, or maybe you need to scratch it off your list based on what you learn here today. We're going to take a look at the entire area with a map tour. You need to understand all the different areas of Canton, where the schools are, where the hangout spots are, major road access. I'll talk about different neighborhoods and what's around for things to do. Let's jump in. Okay, if we're looking at a map of Atlanta, Metro Atlanta is just absolutely enormous, and Canton is up here right on the northern end. It's gonna be about 45 minutes to an hour. You're gonna come down 575, connect onto 75, and then you'll hit Atlanta. So very much on the outskirts of the metro area. Okay, I got us zoomed in on Canton here, and the first thing we're gonna look at is the major access roads. The most important one being 575 running straight through. This is gonna be an offshoot of I-75. Now, I-75 is a major interstate road taking you all the way from Miami up into Michigan. I-75, however, is not an interstate road. It really just goes for maybe 25 miles or so. It's gonna shoot off of 75, and eventually, it just becomes a two-lane road with traffic lights and everything as you get closer to Jasper. And it's gonna eventually take you all the way up to, the North Carolina area. So we have 575, and then going east and west, this is Highway 20. This will take you all the way over to Cumming, Georgia, or over to the west, it'll take you over to Cartersville. You have 140 coming down here, kind of going north and south. It'll take you all the way into Alpharetta, Milton, Roswell. And then you have some sneaky ones in here. You can't quite see it, but there's this guy right here. This is East Cherokee. It's a long road. If you're traveling around Cherokee County, this is gonna be a major one that you'll find yourself driving on. And then over here is gonna be Bell's Ferry. That's another one going north and south that if you can be close to any of these major roadways, you're gonna be able to travel around pretty easily. Now, if I zoom out here, there are 6 different areas of Canton that we're gonna talk about. I've kind of divided it into 6 sections. We have this almost Waleska area. And by the way, if you're looking at Canton, you're thinking, whoa, there's too much going on there. I want a little bit more space. Waleska would be a good option for you, or Ball Ground would be a good option for you. But I'm calling this area the almost Waleska area. We have this Macedonia area over here. We have our almost White Georgia. This is White Georgia over here, and it kind of takes up this whole space. This is almost White Georgia. Hickory Flat, Holly Springs, and then Sixes Road over here. And all of this is gonna be centered around this downtown Canton most developed area here. I'm gonna clear this out. We're gonna zoom in. We're gonna start with that downtown area. So let's go right into the heart of Canton. This is downtown. It's not very big. It's been known to be a little bit sleepy. It's really just a couple of one-way streets on either side. They've got a little kind of gazebo area here. There's some really nice restaurants in here though, and they've been opening more and more. Local on North is fantastic. Cone to Pick, that's an ice cream place. Going Coastal, Queenie's is in here. Pops is a new counter service. B&B Social is a new Mexican restaurant that just went in there. So I guess really in the past 2 years, it's really kind of blown up a little bit. So downtown Canton is a good area to make sure that you're very familiar with. They host events in here all the time. First Fridays, they bring in a whole bunch of food trucks. There's always a band. People are on the lawn watching the band. It's really a lot of fun. And then right next door is gonna be the Mill on Etowah. This is a super cool hangout spot here. They've taken this kind of old industrial style area, and they've added donut shops and restaurants and a general store, and there's a green space and Reformation Brewery, and they'll show the football games, or they'll host a local band and people hanging out on the lawn and the breweries, and they'll have farmers markets. It's a really cool place to go and hang out. Anytime you're looking for something to do in Canton, the Mill on Etowah is always a good spot for you. Just to the north of that is gonna be Riverstone Parkway. This is a highly developed road here. This is exit 20 off of 575. Lots of stores, restaurants, development right in here. You have the movie theater, Cracker Barrel. You know, Cracker Barrel is not necessarily something to write home about, but some of these restaurants up here, like Riverstone Corner Bistro, that's my favorite restaurant in Canton. 41 South Barbecue, excellent barbecue, Sidelines, Dive Southern Coastal. These are really cool spots to go and hang out at. Home Depot's here, the Publix is here. There's a Michael's here. There's a TJ Maxx, I think. I don't really... Ross is the one that I'm thinking of. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff on this road here. And then right across the street is some of my favorite parks. We have Heritage Park here. We have Etowah River Park over here. And if you can see, there's this walking path, kind of jogging path, biking path all around here. You can go through the woods and it connects over into Etowah River Park. And then it's gonna follow Etowah River all the way over here. It gets cut off, but let me zoom out a little bit. It ends in this little gazebo here, but you can make a really nice evening, afternoon, morning walk out of all of this. And they're actually extending this, and I think they're gonna connect it to the mill on Etowah over here, which would be really, really fun. And then just south of this is going to be Canton Marketplace. So this is exit 20 up here, Riverstone, just one exit down. So really, really close. It's gonna be Canton Marketplace over here. This is your Target, your Lowe's, your Best Buy, your Books A Million. There's some restaurants in here. There's Taco Mac. I love Taco Mac. I don't know if you have Taco Mac where you are, but I love Taco Mac. La Paria, lots of different stores. Across the street is Hobby Lobby, Home Goods. There's some more restaurants over here. Your Pie. Up here is Crumble Cookie. What else is up here? Chipotle, Wingstop. So, you know, maybe some more fast food, some more chainy stuff, but this is a really hot spot for all your shopping, if you're going to Target, Lowe's, all of those things. And then just south of that is gonna be the hospital. This is a fantastic hospital, Northside Cherokee. I have a client right now, he's very much into holistic and natural remedies. He does sound therapy, but even he says that Northside Cherokee is a fantastic hospital. So this is definitely some place that's good to know, good to be close to, especially if you're thinking about retiring up here in Canton where there's a little bit more space. Knowing where that hospital is a really big deal. All right, let's jump into some of the areas here. So the first area that we were talking about is this almost Waleska area that I'm talking about. So we're kind of centered around this reservoir here. It's not necessarily a lake, it's the Hickory Log Creek Reservoir, but you can put in a kayak or a canoe. You can fish in here. So that's a really nice place for activity. Now, if you look up here, there's a whole lot of green. So if you are looking for, I just want a home with some land and some space, this is a good option for you. This is a good area for you. If you go down to the southern part of Canton, look at all of these homes, look at all of this development here. And if I scroll up to this Waleska area, look at all of that green. If I zoom in, you'll still see homes, but you see all the land around those homes. So if you're looking for a little bit more space, this could be a good area for you. And you're right down the road. I would say maybe just a 10-minute drive to all of that stuff that we talked about at the beginning. Now, there are 4 neighborhoods I'll point out in this particular area that are worth mentioning. We're gonna have the Laurel Canyon area over here. We got Great Sky over here, Hickory Bluffs over here, and then up to the north is gonna be Town Mill. Just a little quick words on each of these. So we have Laurel Canyon. This is a real big community, and they're actually still adding to this community, still building. We have some building going on over here. We have some building going on over here. This is actually a 55+ community within the neighborhood. This is gated, so if you're looking for you know, a golf course, but you still want to just be in a 55+, maybe a gated, this is kind of a community in a community, that would be a good option for you. So I got Zillow pulled up here, and I got a circle drawn around Laurel Canyon just to show you some of the options you have. You do have some 1-stories in the 4s. You'll also have some 1-stories in the 6s. and some larger homes in the 8. So there's a ton of variety in this Laurel Canyon area, depending on what you're looking for. All right, jumping back out here, we also were talking about the Great Sky neighborhood. Again, this is a big neighborhood. This is kind of built up on a mountain, so this is really hilly going in here. And you can see they're still adding on to this community as well. Some new construction going on here. So if you are looking for new construction, there is a little bit more coming to Canton. If I go over to Zillow and I draw a circle around Great Sky, we can see what kind of options we have here. So yeah, some larger homes in the 6s, some stuff on the reservoir. If I go and just look for some new construction, 16 new homes, Crescent Point. So we got stuff in the 5s and the 6s. Looks like some single stories here. Down here we also have Sunrise Cove. Again, some single stories. These are getting a little bit higher. And I think there's some 2 stories in here somewhere, if I recall. Aurora Ridge, there we go. Yeah, 6s and 7s, 2 stories. Let's take a look at one of these real quick. Yeah, really pretty. These are Toll Brothers, some really, really pretty homes in here. Okay, next is gonna be that Hickory Bluffs. Now this is a true 55 and older community. This is a really pretty community. I've moved 4 or 5 clients into here. They absolutely love it. My own mother lives in this community. It's really, really nice. The clubhouse is exceptional. They got tons of pickleball courts. It is gated, really tight-knit community. So definitely something to think about if you're thinking about retiring in Canton. You're looking for that 55 and older community. You still have access to all of that stuff that we talked about at the beginning, because you're right off of Bluffs Parkway here. And you're gonna come right down into that Riverstone downtown Canton area. So super, super easy access there. And then the last one is gonna be Town Mill up here. This is a big community. There was like 4 different builders building in here, and they're still adding on to what's going on in here, but depending on what you're looking for, there are single stories if you're looking for something a little bit smaller, but there's also some really large homes as well. And that's kind of true for some of these bigger communities in Canton. As I talk about them, there's just a wide variety of housing. They're like little cities in and of themselves. Okay, next is gonna be this Almost White area. This is just to the west here, and you can see White, Georgia over here. It's gonna take up a lot of this. So as we go along 20, we're almost into White, so that's why I'm calling this the Almost White Georgia area. The Almost White Georgia area. Now there, if you can see, there is not a ton going on. There's really one neighborhood that I'm gonna talk about here. And all of this, like, there's not really any homes up here. But one neighborhood in particular is the River Green neighborhood. And again, huge neighborhood, bigger than Town Mill, I would say. Multiple pools in here, lots of different houses depending on what you're looking for. They are still building in here. They have, similar to Laurel Canyon, they're building a 55 plus community right at the back here. So if you're looking for something like that, this could be a really good option for you. If you live around here, you're gonna be using 20 to go out west over to Cartersville. You might be jumping on 575 to go south. You might be taking, this is Buttersworth, it turns into Univiter, and it's a quick jog over to 140. But you can take that to get over to 140, you can take that over to 575, or you also have Bell's Ferry that'll take you north and south here. But that's the River Green neighborhood over in this Almost White area that I'm talking about. And you can see this is pretty close to all of that downtown area that we were talking about as well. All right, next is this Macedonia area over to the east. If you live over here, again, you're on 20, that's gonna take you all the way over into Cumming, Georgia. It's still kind of out there. If you're living in any of these 3 northern areas that I talked about here, we have, you know, this Almost Waleska, Almost White, this is the Macedonia area. If you're in any one of these 3 areas, then you're looking to be within arm's reach of everything, but not too close. You want to be too close to everything, but you want it to be close enough to where you can actually get to it within reason. If you're in one of these southern areas down here, Holly Springs, Hickory Flat, or 6s, you want everything at your fingertips. You want to be right in the middle of everything. So that's really the difference between these 3 northern areas and these 3 southern areas. All right, so if we zoom in over here, There's more residences over here in this area, but there's not a lot of businesses and activity. So again, you're just a little bit further removed. A couple neighborhoods to point out here. We have, not Fieldstone, I always call it Fieldstone, Forest Creek. We have Governor's Preserve over here. And then we have Woodmont down here. We'll talk about each of these in turn. So Forest Creek is just off of 20. It's going to be located right here, all of these. These are all very similar homes. They're in the 5s and maybe in the 6s. Brick front, they're all pretty similar. There are a couple 1-stories, but mostly they're 2 stories, anywhere from that, like, 2,400 to maybe 3,000 square feet, depending on if there's a basement. Really nice neighborhood. The amenities are fairly modest. There's a little pool, there's a little playground, but nothing crazy, which means your HOA dues are gonna be pretty low. If you're living in this area, then you're living on 20 to head over into, this target development area over here, and then you can take 75 to go to wherever it is that you're going. Next neighborhood is Governor's Preserve. That's going to be up here. This is a mountain, so you got to kind of climb up the mountain to get to Governor's Preserve, and then up here, lots of really nice homes in here. It's going to be in the 7s and the 8s. It's got a nice pool. It's got nice amenities. It is pretty hilly, but it's a nice neighborhood if you're looking for something just a little bit further away from everything and you don't mind the hills. And then lastly, we're going to take a look at Woodmont Golf and Country Club. Really, really pretty neighborhood. You can see the golf course around here. The whole thing is built around this really nice golf course. It's got great clubhouse, tennis courts, pool, the whole 9, everything that you need. Lots of really big homes. You can get up into the 1.2s, 1.3s, but you can find anything from the 4s and 5s if you're looking for something a little bit lower on the budget. It's right across from Creekview High School, so everything in this Macedonia area is going to be zoned for Creekview High School. I can't steer you one way or another. I'm not going to say it's a good or bad high school, but it is highly rated on niche.com. We'll go ahead and throw those stats up on the screen just so you know what you're dealing with. Now, I help clients all the time relocate to the metro Atlanta area, so my information is in the description, or you'll see it here at the bottom of the screen. Call, text, or email. I'm always happy just to answer questions or have a conversation. All right, next is going to be this Hickory Flat area, and this is going to be right where 140 connects with East Cherokee and Hickory Road. Where those major roads converge is going to bring Hickory Flat, and this area is absolutely blowing up. Some people are super excited about that because more stuff and more home values. If you build a Starbucks right down the road from my house, I know my home value is going up. And some people are like, I didn't move here for all of this. I moved here because it was more spread out. There was less people, and now all these people are coming here, and now I'm upset. So a little bit of a divergence as far as how people feel about all of this development going on, but you should know that this place is absolutely blowing up. Lots going on here. If you zoom into where those 3 roads converge, right here is where most of the Hickory Flat development is. You got your Publix, your Kroger shopping center, your library is right around here, Goodwill, Smoothie King, Chick-fil-A, Papa John's. They're building a Starbucks and a Popeyes right around here. All of your stuff is in this area where these 3 roads converge. Also right here is Dean Rusk, Sequoia High School, and Hickory Flat Elementary School. So they're all right there in this same location. So this area is going to be zoned for Sequoia High School. Again, check your stats on niche.com. We will throw them up on the screen, but they're all going to be zoned for Sequoia right here. A couple neighborhoods of note. I think the first one I'll talk about is Harmony on the Lakes. This neighborhood is absolutely enormous. It's going to be all of this. Thousands of homes in this neighborhood. They got townhomes, they got little cottages, they got modest 2 stories and the high 4s and the low 5s, and then they got these big $700,000-$800,000 homes as well, all centered around Bradshaw Lake here. Great amenities, clubhouse, pools, tennis courts, basketball courts, playgrounds, multiple lakes in here. This is a really, really popular neighborhood. Everyone loves to live in here. Next one I would talk about is Edgewater right over here. This is right off of Kegel Lake. Once upon a time, not too long ago, this was the new construction where they were building, but they just finished it. I think they just sold the last home in here maybe 3 to 6 months ago, something like that. They're actually building a little offshoot of that. This is the Enclave at Edgewater, I think is what it's called. They just started selling in here. And if I pull up Zillow, you can see the new homes right over here, 4 new homes. Yeah, the Enclave at Edgewater is kind of an offshoot of the original Edgewater. Stanley Martin product. High 4s, low 5s, you know, obviously depending on what's going on inside, but I've been in the Edgewater homes and they are really well constructed. They're really beautiful on the inside. And then the last one I think I'll mention over here is Bradshaw Farm. Again, huge neighborhood. It's going to go all the way from East Cherokee all the way up to Hickory, centered around a really pretty golf course. It's technically in Woodstock, but the northern half is in Canton. So if I'm talking about one or the other, I'm usually talking about Bradshaw Farms just because it's such a popular neighborhood. Really, really nice, pretty homes in here. An excellent spot. If you're looking for something, it's not new, it's well established. Brick fronts on most of the properties. You can get a home on a golf course if you're looking for something like that. And just great amenities all around. Right down the road here is J.B. Owens Park. This is a little park, and Cherokee County especially does a great job with all their parks. There's a nice green space in here. There's a really cute playground. There's actually a little pathway that goes to a creek and some hiking trails right down here. Some other parks that I actually forgot to mention up over off of 20, up in this Macedonia area, there's the Cherokee Veterans Park. This is a really large park. They do have the indoor recreation center. They have outdoor pickleball courts. They got a great playground. They're hosting events here all the time, farmers markets or you know, community festivals. During Christmas, they fill this with Christmas lights and you can do a drive-through with your car. It's a really fun park. It's a really good one. In Hickory Flat, they're building a new park currently. It's not open yet, but it's just off of East Cherokee. Let me find it real quick. Right over here. Yeah, Hickory Flat Park. It's gonna be a new one. It's not built yet. I'm so excited. They're gonna have a dog park and we'll throw it up on the screen, sort of the master plan of what it's gonna be, but I'm super excited for that one to go in as well. Next is gonna be the Holly Springs area. If you continue west over on Hickory Road, you're gonna eventually hit this Holly Springs. And a quick note about Holly Springs. Holly Springs is a different city than Canton. However, for all intents and purposes, we're gonna consider it part of Canton. I may get some heat for this. Holly Springs people may hate me for this, but I'm sorry, folks, you're just Canton. Technically, they're their own thing. They have their own mayor, but you know, let's take a look at Zillow real quick. If I type in Canton, Georgia, take a look at those boundaries. Now, if you look right here where you think it would close off down here, see all of this over here? That's Holly Springs. So, Holly Springs, I'm sorry, we're just gonna call you part of Canton. That's just how it's gonna be. Jumping back to the map here, just a couple things of note as we zoom into Holly Springs. They are actually They are actually developing their own kind of downtown city center thing. They're doing a little amphitheater here. They've built the parking garage already. They're putting up a lot of residences, new construction townhomes, kind of stuff around the gathering space. And then there is one new construction home right over here. Not just one, actually. I'm gonna get rid of these boundaries. Let's go over in Hickory. Yeah, 9 new homes. The courtyards at Red Barn Lane. Yeah, these are all, they're marketing them as luxury single level homes. Now, I thought this was a 55 and older active adult community, but it's actually not. I haven't seen anything that's marketing itself as a 55 and older community. I think they're just marketing as luxury ranch homes. So if you're trying to get into something that's a single level, maybe just a little bit bigger, I mean, 2,600 square feet. If you take a look at this one right here, 2,600 square feet on one level, that's a lot of house. 3-3, yeah, it looks really nice. I'd love to walk in there. If you're interested in some new construction, single living, I would love to help you out here. And then finally, we're gonna head down to the Sixes Road area. Sixes Road, it's gonna take you from 575 up to Bell's Ferry. This is the transition down into Woodstock. Anything south of here is gonna be in northern Woodstock. A couple things of note, right here at Sixes and 575, lots of development here. Your Home Depot, One Life, couple restaurants, Kroger should be just south of here, Publix should be right around here. So this is where a lot of your kind of shopping is going to be. Right off of Sixes down here is going to be the Cherokee Aquatic Center. This is a really, really fun aquatic center. It's got this nice, almost water park area outside. It's got the water slides, it's got the splash pad, it's got the zero entry pool, it's got the lazy river. Excellent place to go when it's hot, especially in the summertime. There are a couple neighborhoods right off of this. This is the Falls at Cherokee. Some older homes in here, but nicer homes as well. Over here is Blankets Creek Park. This is a set of mountain bike trails. I hear there's some of the best in the Southeast. So if you're into mountain biking, this is a really good area that you want to be in. Right next to that is going to be Highland Point. It starts off with some older homes at the front, and then right around here they started building new ones after 2020, after 2010 and the housing crisis. So back here, if you don't mind like a 10-minute drive to the back of the neighborhood, some really pretty homes at the back here. And then as you get to the end, this is our last large neighborhood, probably the most popular neighborhood in all of Canton. This is the Bridge Mill neighborhood right off of Lake Altoona. Again, I've said this a lot, tons of different houses. There's little cottages you can get for $400,000 all the way up to something of the grand scale in $1.6 million. It does have a golf course on here. It does have great amenities, probably the best pool in all of Canton. It's fantastic. And the fun part about Bridge Mill is that it's an a la carte HOA. So if you're thinking like, I don't want to pay for a golf course in my HOA, you can actually pick and choose whatever you want to add to your cart as far as an HOA amenities is concerned. Now, if you're watching this and you're thinking, I don't know, what else is there? Check out this playlist right over here and you'll find what you're looking for. I'll see you in the next one.